everybody, and welcome to round two. This is going to be round two. We have on this round, let me restart the timer for y'all. We have for this round Affinity versus Grixis Control. This is going to be a little more of an interesting, not a little more interesting than the last round. I think last round was actually extremely good matchup. Super fun to watch, but interesting in a sense that Devin has a lot of pieces that he can utilize to tear apart what Ryan's doing. But if Ryan just goes fast enough with Affinity, it's game over. It is going to be really hard for Devin to recover from something like a Etch Champion or a land plus cranial plating combo that Devin just can't deal with. Devin's really looking to establish a decent amount of mana and utilize said mana in a way that tears apart what Ryan's doing. Cards like Kolaghan's Command are going to be really advantageous for Devin. Being able to destroy an artifact and deal 2 to a creature is a pretty big blowout. Alright. We have a roll here from Ryan. He rolled an 8. Let's see what Devin's got going for him. And that's going to be an 11. Alright, so Devin's going to opt to take the play here. Devin is looking for a hand that has some sort of early interaction. Thought Scour looks pretty good. Ooh, he has Engineered Explosives main board. He's thinking about this hand. I think what I'm seeing is 3 Thought Scours. It's going to be really good for any sort of delving threat that he may have. But he also only has 1 land. He's going to keep it. He's going to fetch for turn. Both players have a keep on their hands. I see an Ornithopter at the top of Ryan's hand. Midnight, Darksteel Citadel, Cranial Plating. Yeah, this is the keep on Ryan's side. Alright, so he's going to fetch and shock, going down to a total of 17 life. Alright, he's going to present to Ryan. Ryan's going to cut, and it's going to be Thought Scour, possibly targeting himself. Oh no, this is going to be Serum Visions. Okay, so he's going to draw a card, and he's going to scry 2. One's going to go on the top, one's going to go on the bottom. I imagine that next turn we'll start seeing the Thought Scours get fired off. Oh. Devin realized he had was quite possibly one of his sideboard cards in the main board. Alright, it's going to be Midnight Ornithopter. Inkmoth Nexus past the turn. So not the most explosive start, but he's really going to get to make work of that cranial plating if Devin doesn't have some more action here. Devin's going to pass the turn. Darksteel Citadel coming down for Ryan. Ryan does have Arcbound Ravager, and that's what he's going to attempt to deploy here. Checking to see if Devin has something like Spell Snare. Devin's going to take 1, fall down to 16. And he's going to, at end of turn, going to Thought Scour himself. So he's going to mill over 2 cards, and he's going to get to draw a card. Alright, he's going to untap and draw for turn. See what Devin chooses to play here. He already has a fair amount of cards in graveyard, so something like Tasker would be good here. Alright, looks like it is going to be another Thought Scour. He's just looking to find a land, I believe. He can't fall behind on land drops. Another Thought Scour. Ryan laughing as he sees how many Thought Scours there are. Oof. So all those Thought Scours did replace themselves, but it looked like Devin wasn't able to find a land. He's going to ship back to Ryan. This is a pretty dismal position from the control standpoint because you really don't want to be missing your land drops. Alright, Ryan's going to tap a total of 3 to equip the cranial plating. So that is 6. So he's representing 8 damage right now towards Devin. Devin's got nothing for this. This is going to be 8. He's going to take a big old chunk out of Devin's life total, dropping him down in half. It's going to drop Devin down to 8. Devin's going to get to untap. Doesn't find another land. This may be lights out here. It's going to be Engineered Explosive set on 0. So this will actually make work of the Memnite and the Ornithopter. And he's going to go ahead and crack that right now. The problem being is that Ryan still has the Ravager. He gets to sack the two 0-drops that would have died. Ryan's going to play another Ravager. Equip Cranial Plating. He can turn an Inkmoth into an artifact off of itself. So right now he has 5. He has possibly 6. Yeah, and that's going to be it. Devin showing Ryan his hand and showing us his hand. Few cryptic commands and ancestral off that last draw. Yeah, not what Devin's looking to do, but he is going to get the sideboard here, and typically each deck's play gets better with the sideboard. Let's hop over to Ryan's side. So we know Devin sides in some number of just artifact hate. Ryan may be looking to side out stuff like Master of Ethereum, possibly one of his Mox Opals, I think is what he pulled to the front. So I saw Thoughtcasts, I believe, coming out, just because it's a spell that Devin can counter. Yeah, Blood Moon will do the trick. Also 2 Spell Pierces. Ryan looking at Grafdigger's Cage as a possible inclusion as well. Devin might take out the Ancestrals. Yeah, it looks like that's what he's doing, just because it's a little slow in the matchup. Looks like Counter Squall also coming out for Devin. He really just wants what deals with what's on the board rather than just what gets him further in the game, because drawing 3 cards is great, but you have to survive to do so. Alright. Devin's, yeah, going to take out the other Ancestral as well. And probably, yeah, it looks like he's looking at the other Counter Squall as a possible takeout as well. Alright, Ryan's going to shuffle up. Pretty standard sideboard here for Ryan. Yeah, Izzet Staticaster puts in work against all of Ryan's 1 toughness creature, which is actually a good amount of the deck. If he's getting in with a lot of Signal Pests, it deals with that. Memnites. It doesn't quite deal with Arcbound, but it does force a sacrifice. Looks like Anger's also the possibility for coming in for Devin. I mean, it's a definite inclusion if that's the card I saw. Alright. Alright, Devin likes what he sees. Other possible cards that Devin could have included there, it looked like Collective Brutality was a card that he was looking at. Ceremonious Rejection's coming in. That's going to be a great inclusion for Devin, especially if he only gets stuck on a few mana. Hopefully he does not. Hopefully he has a bit more play to his strategy there, but we'll have to see. And we really saw the power of Cranial that last game, and that's one of the cards that just pushes Affinity over the edge. Arcbound doing a similar job of scaling, basically replacing anything that would be killed by putting a counter on the Arcbound and then transferring the counters over to another creature, kind of forcing your opponent to deal with everything that's there, which can be pretty tedious at times. Alright, Ryan's going to shuffle up Devin's deck. Devin's just going to opt to cut. And we're going to have a game 2 underway here. It's going to be Affinity versus Grixis Control, with Affinity already up a game. Just 9 minutes into the match. Devin, another low... No mana hand. I was going to say low mana, but no mana. Oh, wow. The mana is really not panning out. This is where I'll take something like a pile shuffle. Is really what I'll take my 1 pile shuffle for the round, or for the game. Over on Ryan's side, we're looking at quite possibly 3 Steel Overseers, a Signal Pest, Arcbound Ravager. Okay, it looks like it's a Springleaf Drone, Memnite. Yeah, Springleaf Drum, Midnight, Spire of Industry, Mox Opal, Signal Pest, Arcbound, Steel Overseer. This is a really good hand uh, coming out of Ryan's side. All right, we have Lightning Bolt, Kolaghan's Command, and lands. This is quite possibly what Devin's been looking for. And he's gonna have an uphill climb considering Ryan has what is one of the more glorious hands that Affinity can have. He's gonna pass turn, and we're gonna see the power of this hand as Ryan starts to deploy things. It's gonna be Mox Opal, Memnite, tap. Now the Mox Opal's online, and so Ryan has a virtual 2 mana, one off the Mox Opal and one off Springleaf tapping Midnight. That's gonna be 2 mana. That's gonna be a turn 1 Arcbound, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, Devin's gonna draw for turn. Drawing Ceremonious Rejection for turn. Which is kind of a slap in the face by the Ceremonious Rejection. So Devin has the option of fetching right now and going and grabbing a land to play the Lightning Bolt and just dealing with the Arcbound before Ryan deploys too many other things. And then he'll still have mana up for Ceremonious Rejection because I do believe he has Basic Island in hand. Looks like Devin's just going to grab Watery Grave tapped and hope to counter whatever Ryan's doing the following turn. Really trying to mitigate some damage and play around Ryan just having a huge attack. Okay, so this is going to be Silver Falls, and that's going to be a Lightning Bolt targeting the Arcbound Ravager. The Ryan has the option here to sacrifice something else, but he is just going to get rid of the Arcbound, and the Memnite is going to grow to a 2/2. Alright, Ryan's going to untap. This is going to be Spire of Industry number 2 coming down for Ryan. This is going to be Signal Pest. Pretty weird that Devin didn't leave up mana for the Ceremonious Rejection. That may not have been what he drew. But this is going to be 2 mana Steel Overseer coming down for Ryan. And an attack for 2. Alright, it's going to be 3. This is going to be a big Kolaghan's Command here. He's going to deal 2 to the Steel Overseer and destroy an artifact. Either or. But he's going to deal with the Steel Overseer and the Midnight Signal Pest attacking for nothing itself. It's going to be a Steel Overseer, and he's going to tap off the Springleaf Drum to play the Signal Pest, and Ryan's empty-handed. See what Devin's able to do this turn. He has Snap, Bolt, so he's going to bolt the Steel Overseer. He has the Snap to, it won't be able to block either Signal Pest because they can only be blocked by creatures with reach or flying. So Devin's going to take 2 damage here, drop down to 15. And Ryan's just going to ship the turn back to Devin. Devin's going to untap, draw for turn. Alright, he's going to play a Polluted Delta, and he's going to attack in for 2 with the Snapcaster. It's going to drop Ryan down to 18. Alright, so Ryan looking at Spell Pierce and Cranial Plating. See if he tries to sneak in that Cranial Plating past Devin. Alright, Cranial Plating. It's going to be Ceremonious Rejection countering it, and Devin showing a lot of restraint with that Ceremonious Rejection. It paid off for him this turn. And he's going to still get to deal 2 damage to Devin, dropping him down to 13. Devin's going to fetch, dropping himself down to 12. So this has been a lot better of a game for Devin. He's finding a lot of his interaction, and he needs to continue to find said interaction. Because a lot of the top of Ryan's deck is pretty live. Ryan also just has 1 mana up for Spell Pierce. So if Devin tries to fight a counter war, Ryan could actually come out on top depending on what counter Devin's trying to use. Alright, Devin's going to draw for turn. It's going to be a Watery Grave tapped. He's going to attack with the Snapcaster. That's going to drop Ryan down to 16. Alright, Ryan's going to draw for turn. Just a Starksteel Citadel. Not even thinking he wants to deploy it. He may just hold it back. He's going to get in his 2 with the Signal Pass triggers. It's going to drop Devin down to 10. He's going to ship the turn back to Devin. Devin has a choice now. It's like Devin's trying to see if he fires off something at the end step here. Alright. Repositioning his mana. Possible Cryptic Mana? No, this is going to be Snapcaster. See what the target is. Possibly Kolaghan's Command. If he taps the 3, though, Ryan's going to have the answer in hand. Yeah. Now, this did do something important, though. It increased Devin's clock on Ryan. So now Ryan's on a 4-turn clock. Right, so Devin's going to get in for 4. That's going to drop Ryan down to 12. He's just going to ship the turn back over to Ryan. Ryan's going to untap, draw for turn. It's going to be a Blink Moth. That's going to increase Ryan's clock tremendously. Devin's going to Thought Scour, targeting himself. Draw off the Thought Scour, draw for turn. Devin's going to need to find something to do because that Blink Moth off the 2 triggers is going to get substantially bigger. Ryan's going to drop down to 8 here. Ornithopter. This is another clock piece for Ryan. This is not to be trifled with. These Signal Pests giving their Battle Cry triggers is really going to do a lot for Ryan here. So 2 triggers, that's going to make the Blink Claw 3 damage. That's going to make each Signal Pest 1 damage. So that's going to be 5. That's going to drop Devin down to 3. Let's see what Devin finds. And that's going to be it. Devin just finding basic lands. And that's going to be a quick 2-0. Wow. Yeah, Ryan really found absolutely what he needed game 1. Devin wasn't finding any lands, which is pretty unfortunate. Always happens in a game like Magic. Devin finding a lot of interaction and still got beat down by 2 Signal Pests in the top of Ryan's deck. But that's just the way that it goes. A lot of Affinity's draws are very live if you just run out of interaction. A really pivotal turn there was when Devin went for the Snap and then the Kolaghan's Command, and Ryan had the Spell Pierce in hand. So Spell Pierce definitely being a good side in for Ryan. I imagine it's in there for the control matchup, for the heavy spell matchup. Alright, and with 30 minutes left in round, we're actually going to transition over into the old transition over into the face cam. What's up, Twitch? This is Chad here at Eden Games and Hobbies, and what you just watched was round 2. It was Devin on Grixis control and Ryan on Affinity. I was wondering, I know that Ryan has the option to play Affinity. I was wondering if he was going to play it. He randomly gets a Wild Hair to play it. Usually plays Abzan, which is what I thought he was going to be on. When I picked the round, I thought we were going to have a grindy mid-range match, and then we ended up watching Affinity do what Affinity does, which is attack with a fair amount of creatures. But yeah, so to clarify, I think there was a clarification on what happened round 1. We had a turn with Scapeshift versus Green-White Company, where what had happened was Brendan on Scapeshift, Dom decided to tap a Temple Garden and path Brendan's Primeval Titan. So then Brendan would search his library. But what Dom did was hold priority in order to Ghost Quarter Brendan's Valakut, and then continue to hold priority, which is something you're allowed to do in Magic. If you've ever played Ad Nauseam, it's a really weird interaction the way that it works, but it did work out the way that they thought. They ended up searching it after the match. But he held priority, sacrificed the Temple Garden with Knight of the Reliquary, went and grabbed another Ghost Quarter and hit the other Valakut. What was missed was that Brendan actually should have gotten at least one Valakut trigger, because then in the order of resolution, the first Ghost Quarter would have knocked out the first Valakut, and then Brendan could have gone and grabbed a Mountain, which would have dealt at least 3 damage. It wasn't a missed opportunity. Brendan ended up winning that game anyways, but I wanted to explain that interaction just in case anyone goes back. Just wanted to have a bit of clarification on what was happening that round. Other than that, it's a pretty interesting field here, actually, if I'm able to look at the player list. We have... And if anyone has, as I go through the player list, if anyone has any decks they would like to see on camera, I will for sure put them on camera. So just put that in the chat, and we'll make it happen. So we have Brian, who is on Zoo. He is on Naya Zoo, classic Naya Zoo. The one that's been floating around for years now. I think he plays the more Revolt-heavy version, so that's something to look out for. We have Mike, who's on Jeskai Control, I believe, and Ryan Smith, who is on an interesting Eldrazi, like... it almost plays similar to Legacy Eldrazi, but it's not Eldrazi Tron. It is like a Serum Powder, use Eternal Scourge. It kind of plays with more of the nuances of the more recent Eldrazi. We have Caesar, who I believe is on Jeskai Control himself. We have Adam Edmondson, which is... Adam is on some sort of blue-white attrition... equip a Sword of War and Peace sort of prison deck. It's like almost enchantment and artifact based, which is really interesting. We just saw Ryan and Devin play. Brendan was from last round. He was on Scape Shift. If y'all would like to see that again, I'm more than happy to show it. We have Aaron Prido, who is on Jund. We have Jonathan, who's on Restore Balance. I told him if he ends up winning this round, we will we'll put him on the feature match one of the last 2 rounds, because I mean, Restore Balance is pretty interesting. Not a lot of people understand the nuance of it. Dom is on Green White Company. I believe that we have someone in the room that is on... What's the other... It's the other Cascade deck that... Living End. Yeah. So we have someone in the room on Living End. We have someone in the room on Mono Red Tron Burn. So we have a pretty interesting meta here at Endgames. It's usually actually... if you were paying attention while I was going through the list, you'll note that there's a lot of mid-range heavy decks, which is pretty typical as to what we see in our field here at Endgames and Hobbies. A lot of decks that are either Thoughtseize based or control based. And yeah, we have a lot of players that play these decks very, very well. What I'm going to end up doing for y'all is we are going to take another quick recess as far as the round is concerned, just so I can get some reports and other things from the from what's going on in the tournament. And since it's modern, we'll have a round 3 for you very quickly. If not, I will still come back within 15 minutes and give you all an update on what's going on in the room. But yeah, if you would like to see whether it be Restore Balance, Jund, any of these decks on camera, let us know what's your preference, and I will put it on the feature match. We'll make round 3 a Twitch viewer feature match, right? Alright, so thank you all very much for tuning in this round, and we are going to see you in 15.